Hi everyone. Last lecture you see about schedule G, schedule H, schedule X. Now today you discuss about schedule T. What is schedule T? It is an good manufacturing practice for Ayurvedic Siddha and Unani medicine. So, in that, the good manufacturing practice are prescribed to ensure that the raw material used in the manufacture of a drugs are authentic of prescribed quality and are free from contamination. The manufacturing process has been prescribed to maintain the standards. Adequate quality control measures are adopted. The manufactured drugs which is released for sale is of a acceptable quality. To achieve the objective above, each license shall involve methodology and procedure for following the prescribed process of a manufacturer of a drugs, which should be documented as a manual and kept for reference and inspection. It is a very important thing as you go through the good manufacturing practices. The following requirements are essential. In that part one, good manufacturing practices, you see about factory premises. What are the requirements for factory premises? The manufacturing plant should have adequate space for first receiving and storing raw material. It is very important thing that is a receiving and storing raw material, manufacturing process area, quality control section, finished goods store, office, rejected goods and drug store. It is a required for factory premises. In that second, general requirement for process of pharmacy. First, location and surrounding. Very important thing. What are the location and what is the surrounding about the factory premises? It is an important things. Then second, a building used for factory shall be such as to permit a production of a drugs under hygienic condition very important thing about the building hygienic condition maintained for drug and should be free from cobwebs and insect rodents. It is very important thing about the drug manufacturing, the premise use manufacturing process, packaging and labeling will be conformity with the provision of a factory act. It shall be located as to be. Then that first compatible with other manufacturing operations that may be carried out in the same or adjacent premise adequately provide with a working space to allow ordinary and logical placement of a equipment and materials to avoid the risk of mix up between different drugs or components thereof and control the possibility of cross contamination by other drugs or substances and avoid the risk of omissions of a manufacturing or control step. Then third, design, construction, maintain to be prevent entry of insect and rodents. Then fourth, interior surface, wall, floors and ceilings shall be smooth, free from cracks and permit easy cleaning and disinfection. The walls of the room in which the manufacturing operation are carried out shall be impressive to and to be capable of being kept clean. The flooring shall be smooth and even shall be such as do not permit retention and accumulation of a dust or waste products. Then water supply. It is very important thing about manufacturing process or production. The water supply, disposal of a waste, container cleaning, store, then raw material. In that raw material, all raw materials of products for manufacturing shall be stored in the raw material store. While designing such containers, cabins, or area in the raw material store, care may be taken to handle the following different categories of a raw material. What are those? In that, first, raw material of a metallic origin, raw material of mineral origin, raw material from animal sources, fresh herbs, dry herbs or plant part, excipient, volatile oils, perfume and flavor, concentrate and exudate resins. Each container used for raw material store shall be properly identified with the label which indicate name of the raw material, source of a supply, and while also clearly state the status of a raw material such as under under test, approved, rejected. The label shall be further indicate and identify the particular supply in the form of batch number, lot number, and the date of receipt of the consignment. Then packaging material, finishing goods store. In finishing goods store, the finishing good transfer from the production area after proper packaging shall be stored in the finished goods store within area marketed. Quarantine after the quality control laboratory and the except have checking the concreteness of finished good with the reference to its package labeling as well as finished product quality as a prescribed, then it will be moved to after finished good stocks area. Then working space, health, clothing, sanitization and hygienic of a workers, medical services, the manufacturing shall also provide the adequate facility for first aid, medical examination of a worker at the time of employment, and pediatrical checkup thereafter by the physician once a year, with a particular attention being a develop of freedom from inspection. Records thereof shall be maintained. So, this for today's lecture. Next lecture you see about remaining part of schedule T. Today you start about schedule T. It is a good manufacturing practices. In that you see factory premises requirement. The manufacturing plant should have adequate space for receiving and store raw material, manufacturing process area, quality control section, finished good store, office, rejected good and drug store. Then you start about general requirement, in that local and surrounding. What is the location and what are the surrounding about the factory. Then building design, interior surface, adequate provide work space. Next, the water supply, disposal of waste, then container cleaning, store, raw material. In that raw material, various different categories of raw material. In that you see about raw material of metallic origin, raw material of mineral origin, raw material from animal source, fresh herbs, dry herbs or plants, excipients, volatile oils, perfume and flavor. Then plant concentration and exudate resin. In that you label as under test, approved or rejected. Then packaging material or finished goods store, working phase, and health, clothing, sanitization and hygienic of your workers. Then medical services. In that the manufacturing shall provide adequate facility for first aid. It is very important things that facility for first aid, adequate facility for first aid, and medical examination of a workers at the time of employment, and a periodical checkup thereafter by the physician once a year, with particular attention being developed to freedom from inspection, infection record thereof shall be maintained. So next lecture you see about remaining part of this schedule T. Thank you.